This story was originally published on June 19th, 2019 on Dart Daily. Dates and references in this recording reflect that time. A look at the past. Booker T. Washington High School alumni celebrate 70th high school reunion. For some, June means the beginning of summer and the end of an era of high school memories. For Texans, June 19th is a celebratory day when news of freedom for all reached their state. On a Monday morning in June, as some prepare to leave their high school days behind, 8 members of Booker T. Washington High School's class of 1949 reflected on their memories as they celebrated their 70th high school reunion and the progress of African Americans in Dallas. Outside of the African American Museum near Fair Park Station, the former classmates lined up shoulder to shoulder to pose for a picture. The morning heat couldn't dampen their smiles as cameras clicked, snapped, and flashed. Standing a few feet away were family, friends, and later Booker T. Washington High School graduates, like Jackie Taylor, who graduated in '61. A tour bus stood nearby to take the group to Dallas landmarks that played a significant role in shaping Dallas's African American community. Dorabelle Freedmen Mack was one of the classmates of 49 that morning. She said in her high school days, her peers called her Dorabelle. Mack became a teacher in Dallas after graduation and has organized every class reunion since, until now. This time, her daughter Valencia Yarbrough, a teacher at the Hockaday School in Dallas, organized the event. Mack said some of her favorite things about going to Booker T. Washington High School were playing in the school band and making lifelong friendships. I'm still in touch with one of my very best friends from high school who lives in Detroit, she said. George Keaton Jr., founder of the nonprofit Remembering Black Dallas, guided the tour. Once everyone took a seat on the bus, Keaton brought the passing sights to life with narrations of Dallas's past. Separate but not equal. Although the Emancipation Proclamation declared slavery void in the former Confederate States in 1863, news of freedom did not reach Texas until 2 years later, on this day 154 years ago, June 19, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger directed Union soldiers into Galveston. After the 13th Amendment officially ended slavery in the United States in 1865, equality in society came at a slow pace. The U.S. Supreme Court's 1896 ruling in the case Plessy v. Ferguson justified, quote, separate but equal, end quote, public facilities and spaces for African Americans and laid the groundwork for legal segregation for the next 58 years. Despite the inequality of the times, African Americans in Dallas made their own opportunities, conducting business, building communities, and settling largely in what was then known as North Dallas. From the beginning of the Civil War in 1861 to the 1970s, North Dallas, today's Uptown, grew into the largest African American community in Dallas and one of the largest in the U.S. As the tour bus made its first stop, Keaton pointed to one of Dallas's landmarks, the Pythian Temple. During the early 1900s, the building housed African American businesses, as well as hosted dances, performances, and community events. Designed by the African American architect William Sidney Pittman and completed in 1916, the Pythian Temple sits on the corner of Elm Street and Good Latimer, just a short walk from Deep Ellum Station. The tour bus proceeded to other landmarks in Deep Ellum, such as St. James AME Church. The church, also designed by Pittman, was built from 1919 to 1921 by entirely African American workers, contractors, and electricians. A way to travel. Traveling on a tour bus can make one ponder about how it was to travel in the past. Through and beyond the 1940s, racial segregation laws governed many aspects of daily life in the U.S. and kept places and amenities like bathrooms, restaurants, schools, and public transportation separate and unequal. When the 8 alumni walked the halls of Booker T. Washington High School between 1945 and 1949, the school was one of only 2 high schools for African Americans in Dallas. Max said it was rare that she rode public transit during her high school days. She said she and her classmates lived about 15 minutes from the school and had fun walking most of the time, especially to football games. During that time, streetcar use in Dallas was in decline due to the increasing presence of the automobile. In 1945, Dallas's dominant transit company, the Dallas Railway and Terminal Company, operated 52 less streetcars that year than in 1926, according to Dallas Area Rapid Transit's 1998 annual report. Even as the transit industry saw changes from the streetcar to the automobile, the impacts of the 1896 Plessy v. Ferguson ruling continued. Automobile travel in the era of segregation in the U.S. posed safety risks for African Americans. To help reduce those risks, the publisher Victor H. Green and Company produced the Negro Motorist Green Book from 1936 until 1967. The book functioned as a guide to destinations such as hotels, restaurants, barbershops, beauty parlors, and service stations where African Americans could visit without fear of discrimination. There will be a day, sometime in the near future, when this guide will not have to be published. That is when we as a race will have equal opportunities and privileges in the United States. It will be a great day for us to suspend this publication, for then we can go wherever we please and without embarrassment. But until that time comes, we shall continue to publish this information for your convenience each year. The Negro Motorist Green Book, 1949. On the tour, Keaton highlighted the Moreland YMCA building in Dallas as one of the locations that the Negro Motorist Green Book featured. You can see the listing above on page 68 from the guide's 1949 issue. Construction on the Moreland YMCA building finished in 1930, and the facility offered rooms and beds for visitors and served as a social and civic center for Dallas's African American community. Now home to the Dallas Black Dance Theater, the building sits on Ann Williams Way, once called Flora Street, about a 9-minute walk from Pearl Arts District Station. Down memory lane. Before making the last stop of the tour, the bus stopped at Booker T. Washington High School for the Performing and Visual Arts, also near Pearl Arts District Station. Although the school changed since the 8 alumni walked its halls, some elements remained the same. As most of the tour participants deboarded the bus, Yarbrough led them to the school's oldest building. There, the alumni walked the halls they once walked as high schoolers, viewing photos, newspaper clippings, and memorabilia of the school's former days. Sylvester Collier, another class of 49 graduate, peered through the glass cases at these pieces of memorabilia. Collier came in from Nevada to participate in the tour and said that along with learning woodwork and growing his interest in art while attending the high school, he enjoyed the enthusiasm of his teachers. Scott Roods, the current principal of Booker T. Washington High School for the Performing and Visual Arts, met the group in one of the school's historic hallways. "We just graduated the next class of alums," Roods said to the group. "When the students realize they are standing on the shoulders of giants, it gives them a real sense of pride." Booker T. Washington High School began in 1922 and has origins tracing back to the late 1800s. The school functioned as the only high school in Dallas for African Americans for 17 years and eventually evolved into a technical school in 1955. In 1976, responding to a court order on desegregation, the school transformed into an arts magnet. After lingering to chat, reminisce, and take photos at their alma mater, the group boarded the bus to visit the final destination of the tour, the Freedmen Cemetery. Established in 1861 near what is now Lemon Avenue and Central Expressway, the Freedmen Cemetery, currently near City Place Uptown Station, offered a burial place for some of Dallas's first African American residents in North Dallas. Today, the cemetery commemorates that thriving community, some of which was lost during the construction of North Central Expressway in 1952. Much of the original cemetery was lost as well, according to the Dallas Landmark Commission landmark nomination form on Dallas's Freedmen Cemetery. As the tour concluded, the tour bus made its way to Celebration Restaurant on Lover's Lane, where the participants enjoyed a hearty lunch. DART recognizes that the lessons of the past are the learning opportunities of the present. As Dallas has grown, so has DART. The agency has become an inclusive mobility manager, bringing the region together and working with North Texas communities to provide connections for future generations. Take the tour. Now it's your turn to take the tour and visit some of the landmarks that played a role in shaping Dallas's African American community. DART is your ride to these places today and throughout the year. This story was written and produced by Crystal Rosague, copy edited by Don Coburn, photography by Lupe Hernandez Jr. and Crystal Rosague. To read this full story and see which DART stations are near these landmarks, visit our blog, DART Daily, at dartdaily.dart.org.